We are back. Sam Seder on the Majority Report. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, on Fridays we have often have guests from the comedy world, from the film world, from the literary world, and very rarely do we have people on from the music world. Well, this man first came to my attention, some time ago, but my understanding is that he's also the voice of this program. He does the famous Majority Report that at the beginning of the program, and he does other things too. Apparently, he's also on.
Wait, you were not aware of that I was the.
Hey, John, it did just come to my attention. I was mentioning today to new Matt and new Kelly that Jon Benjamin was coming on the program. You may know him from some cartoons or something like that, and they said he's also
some of which the
voice
you're on.
It's true. It is absolutely true. That's how I became aware of your work on those programs, by actually being on those programs myself.
Right.
And you do a fine job on those. I mean,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I mean, it's
you are, but that that doesn't make it less.
But John, I was intrigued because then I heard that you have come out with a music album. Now, I wasn't so surprised by that, but I was really shocked that it was jazz, because I had no idea that you were so oriented towards jazz. Let's play a clip of this. This is a clip off of Jon Benjamin's album released by Sub Pop called "I Should Have."
I should have.
Well, I should have.
Well, I should have. Yes.
Well, I should have. Well, comma, I should have. I should have. But this is
yes, not and an ellipsis.
It's okay.
After. I should have.
Everything's digital today. Go ahead. Okay, that's just a clip of, John. What? Let me ask you. What? Were you playing all the instruments on that?
No, I'm on the keys. I'm on the piano.
You're on the piano now.
It was a quartet. I'm the leader of the band, but I play piano.
You played the piano, and I mean it's fascinating for me.
Yes, we have a saxophone, bass, drums, and me on piano.
Yeah, that part sounded great. The saxophone and the bass But I have to say, John, you and I, and I'm not sure if you're aware of this. I've known you probably since I don't know. We probably met when you were in elementary school. And
I think in like sixth grade, yeah,
sixth, seventh grade. I think we also may have gone to that JCC camp together for a while, but I didn't know.
I think we did. I think we went to the same orthodontist. I know
Dr. Rubin.
The same.
Was it Rubin? Was it Rubin?
Probably something like that. Rubin.
Oh no, Rubin was the dentist. Stein. Right, okay. But
Dr. Morin.
Dr. Morin, yes.
Morin.
Yeah, that guy actually had a substantial.
I'm sure he's listening.
He had a substantial issue. It was my understanding, where a lot of that orthodonture money went to. But that aside, John, my understanding and knowing you, and of course we came much closer in college. During that entire time, and we've known each other now for I don't know about 30 some odd years, maybe 40. I don't ever remember you ever playing the piano.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I never did, and I did just that day for the album.
Just that.
I mean, that was the first time. Well,
Yeah.
right. When we recorded in the studio, that's the first time I ever played the piano.
All right, so that really begs the question. You've got three great jazz musicians and their studio musicians, and you come in to play the piano.
They were good. They were good. They were not great. They were good.
Okay, good. I mean, solid. It sounded pretty good. Why?
Totally solid. They knew what they were doing.
Let me ask you, why? Why did you do that?
Well, I was asked to make an album, a comedy album, and I didn't have anything that funny to say or to do, and so I thought I would make a jazz album. So I think that was really just I wouldn't say it was a lark. I would say it was an experiment that went awry.
Right. I mean, it sounds like it failed.
Well, it's kind of intended to fail, but I tried really hard to play. So I wasn't trying to play poorly. I was trying to play well.
No, I mean that comes across.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. I think there is a distinction between people really trying to play poorly.
Well,
people who can play trying to play well.
I saw a review of your album online.
I'm sure.
It was one of those a YouTube review by a guy who apparently is let's
Didn't
see.
like it.
Yeah, it was a guy. Let's see, what's the name of this guy? I'm pulling it up right now. The Needle Drop, which apparently is a big music review site, and yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he thought that for someone who didn't know what they were doing, you were not. It sounded like you were trying, and I think. But then he still panned the album.
Yes, well, he panned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like I'm going to get a lot of that.
Now, let me ask you this. What was the feeling of the jazz musicians who were in there, who were probably about your age, right? That's the late 60s, early 70s? And
you mean when they were born? Or
no, I'm saying in terms of their age. These are guys who had...
Well, I'm not in my early 70s, but go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just going by the pictures. I should have probably looked that up. But it seems to me that you have... these guys in there who have dedicated their lives to playing music, who take a lot of pride in it. So you come in and you sit down at the piano and you just think that you can play the piano because you want to on that day. What was their reaction?
Well, I think based on you're right, that litany of insults, you would imagine they would have been unhappy, and 2 of the 3 were. Yes. 2 out of the 3 musicians, I think, were not offended, but were not happy to be there.
Right. And why was
one, the sax player, who actually is a very talented guy, and kind of brought in a lot of the melodies, I do think it's a bit crass for somebody who plays no jazz at all, it doesn't even play the instrument, to get the opportunity to make an album when really hardworking jazz artists probably don't even have that opportunity. So in that sense, yeah, I think they maybe had a little chip on their shoulder. But most of them were up for it.
I don't know if that's really a chip on their shoulder is really the right way to say that. I mean, because I think it's a pretty justified resent. I mean, because we should make this clear.
A little bit.
We should make it clear. It's not just a question you had the opportunity to record some music, right? I mean, you didn't self-release this. Sub Pop, which is a well-known indie label. In fact, Nirvana, I mean, just the number of well-known musicians and bands that have been released by Sub Pop, and they presumably, right, they pay for marketing. Like, I see there's obviously a publicist involved in this. Like, so this isn't just like you recording it. It sounds like you got paid to do this, and that is, I think, offensive to a lot of people.
Well, they got paid to do it too. I didn't make them do it for free. The musicians were paid to do it. So it
did they?
Like,
at the end of the process, did they say, "Could we have more money"?
I mean, I think they were probably like, "I will never do anything like this again." But they were probably fairly satisfied with the money. I paid low end, but decently.
Did you? Did they know? Did they know that they were coming to play with someone who not only was just not great in piano, but also really? I mean, let's face it. You play like someone who doesn't know what they're doing on the piano.
Right. The big problem was they didn't know. It wasn't a prank on them. They knew what they were getting into, but they didn't know how hard it would be to record songs with me. And so because we did it all in the same studio, in the same room, and they were not that was hard to negotiate because I was playing so poorly. It affected them from playing well. So that was hard. And that made them aggravated. But it worked out because we were able to get the songs out after a while, but that was a little bit difficult.
All right. Now, it's one thing to not know how to play the piano, but do you know how to play the saxophone?
No, but I might.
Do you know how to play the guitar?
No.
Do you know how to play the flute?
No.
Do you know how to play the drums?
A little bit.
Do you know how to play the oboe?
Yes.
My point is, Jon, you don't know how to play any instrument, do you?
I mean, there's a huge opportunity for me to make more albums. Let's put it that way.
So you're saying you could put out your next jazz album could be with you playing the sax, for instance?
Correct. That would be a follow-up opportunity. I could play bass. I could play drums. I could play oboe. Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, there's almost no instrument you couldn't play that wouldn't be a legitimate or there's no instrument that you couldn't try to play that wouldn't be a legitimate follow-up because you'd never come upon an instrument that you knew how to play.
But let me be clear. I've made an oath and I've started taking piano lessons. This is true.
Have you?
And I am trying to learn to play the piano so that I can record an album where I can play the piano. So that is a goal. And I think in 3 or 4 years' time, I will put out my next jazz album and I'll be able to play relatively well, although not great.
Now, Jon, there's another song on the album. And there is one where you actually do sort of play an instrument, if you will. It is... Right. It is your voice. It's an old song. I remember this song from a long time ago. Let's play. I'm just going to play.
Don't play that. That's not appropriate.
Well, I mean, you put it on your album.
Well, I know, but I didn't mean for it to be played whenever anybody wants. That's sort of private.
I understand it's sort of private, but you put it on your album. It's called.
I know that, but I mean, there's use discretion. It's on the trust system of
Well, there's nothing on the album that says trusted. It's called Amy's the Bum Steer. What is it? Let's just hear just a little bit of this.
I'm giving the bum steer in the rear, dear. Step aside, clear a space for the butt smear.
All right.
That was a song. It is an old song. It is not. No.
It's Amy's song. Who's Amy?
Amy is my girlfriend that I wrote that song for. It was
I remember when you wrote that song for her.
The first thing I gave her.
Yes, that was a lovely present. I remember when you recorded that and gave that to Amy.
Yes, she didn't love it.
Well, she must be very excited that you put it on your album.
Well, I mean, nobody knows who Amy is, really.
Until now.
I didn't intend for it to be specifically Amy. Amy's representative of everybody.
It's like everybody's song.
Kind of, yeah. That's an interpretation. It was an artistic choice.
Is your son proud of you, Jon?
He hasn't heard that song. I hope he never does.
Well, I mean, let's hope he doesn't have like a computer or access to a computer. I mean, kids today, they don't have access to computers or phones, do they?
I took all his electronics away years ago.
You did. All right. Well, Jon, you should be very proud. I mean, it's your debut album. You have the Deal with the Devil. That's a spoken word thing, but the rest of it is I can't play the piano part 1. I can't play the piano part 2. It had to be you, soft jazzercise. I can't play the piano part 3. And what is it? I can't trill, baby.
I can't play the piano. I can't play the piano part 4. There's 4 parts.
I see. How did you come up with that title?
I think there was other options, but we landed on I can't play the piano parts 1 through 4 for all the songs. And we just thought it was just more to the point. And
just lastly, one more question: the record company knew you were doing this, right?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, they wouldn't have put it out if they didn't know, right?
Right. I mean,
it wasn't a trick on the record company.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that everybody was.
Look, it's like I will admit that it's a bit hard to listen to, but you kind of have to read between the notes. And for me, it was a passion project. I don't want to sit here and sell it, but why not? To me, I think it's a true celebration of underachievement.
Right. Well, I want to congratulate you. I really do think that you underachieved in this instance, and
then I succeeded. Thank you, sir.
Well, you're very welcome. We will link to the music on our site at majority.fm. I should have with an asterisk, and then down at the bottom of the thing, if you continue to read, it says "Learn to Play the Piano" is the name of the album. And it is it's a triumph of the human spirit, and I guess a defeat in many ways for human music.
Maybe, or a challenge.
Yeah, or a small defeat, not a fatal blow, but
I would say it's a light slap in the face.
It's a slap in the face to music and to talent, really, in many respects. But thank you so much for joining us, Jon. I know you're pressed for time because you've got some other commitment.
Yeah, I got to go learn how to play the piano.
Right. Well, good luck with that.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Wow. The album is available on, you can go to majority.fm, and I don't know, maybe someday if we ever do another fundraiser, we can get him to sign it, or he knows how to sign his name. I'm aware of that. I know that he can actually write.
I've been looking for a way into jazz too, so.
Yeah, this is a great introduction into appreciating the skill set of jazz by watching what happens when someone who's not skilled at it, makes a great stocking stuffer.